5D Mystery School.
Welcome back to 5D Mystery School. Let's get into it. So, let's start off with what are radio waves? AM stands for amplitude modulation and FM stands for frequency modulation. Both AM and FM radio programs are transmitted over the air via radio waves, which are part of the range of electromagnetic waves that include gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, visible light, infrared, and microwave. You can pause to read the rest. Just know that electromagnetic waves are all around us, omnipresent. EM waves are generated by alternating current, the electrical power used to run most of the technology in your home and life, from washing machines to televisions to mobile devices. So AC stands for alternating current, DC stands for direct current. So you might often see AC/DC. The concept of modulation. Electricity in the air is random noise. To be turned into useful signals that transmit information, music, or voice, electricity must first be modulated. Therefore, modulation is the basis for AM and FM radio signals. Another word for modulation is change. Electromagnetic radiation must be modulated or changed to be useful as a radio transmission. Without modulation, a radio signal can't carry information. So AM radio uses amplitude modulation. So with AM radio, these stations broadcast a signal at a constant frequency, but it adds a sound wave that represents the audio to the carrier wave, aka the base signal. Therefore, that changes the height or the amplitude of the wave. Therefore, you have amplitude modulation. So your antenna is the receiver that resonates at that frequency. Let's call this frequency resonance. You can actually create your own antenna with wire, like copper. The antenna generates its own electromagnetic current that corresponds to the signal you are tuned into. Your speaker then reads the signal as volts and is transformed into longitudinal waves or sound waves. FM radio uses frequency modulation, so it uses changes in frequency to broadcast the sound that you're hearing. A small transformer is used that converts the frequencies that you are receiving into sound to your speakers. So with AM waves, the waves are longer and they're able to go further distances. They actually reflect off of the firmament and they can extend greater during the nighttime. Frequency modulation, frequency waves are shorter, therefore you can experience interference with other electromagnetic signals in between the signals that you're receiving. Now I want you to consider the human brain. In this reality, your brain is the receiver. Your brain receives light radiation in the form of codes to decipher. Your ears receive longitudinal waves, which then turns those waves into words and sentences. Your eyes turns light radiation, photon codes, into the reality that you see. Your tongue picks up the energetic information, the resonance from the materials that you're eating, and it gives it the flavor. That flavor has a certain resonance that hits your tongue in a certain way. This is why food never tastes the same to two different people. And your hand picks up the pulsation rate of different items. Therefore, things become tangible to you because of the dense material, the dense molecular structure of the item that you're viewing. The pulsation rate of what you are viewing determines how it's going to be received by your brain. The lower the vibration of something, the more dense it's going to be. This is why somebody with the low vibration has a dense soul body and they are anchored to this reality. But the higher your vibration, the closer you are to your light body. And if you have a lower vibration, then your aura color is going to reflect that. If you have a higher vibration, your aura color is going to reflect that. So you would be more of like ultraviolet if you have a higher vibration, and infrared if you have a lower vibration. Also, everything that you see around you is information. Like if you see a mountain, the mountain has a low pulse rate, therefore it makes it more dense. But light vibrates very, very high. That's why you have the speed of light. So therefore, this is why you can only see visible light on the electromagnetic spectrum, but gamma, infrared, those you can't see. Your eyes can't catch the vibration of them. So this means there is literally an entire invisible world happening around you that your brain can't perceive because you can't see gamma rays, you can't see those other electromagnetic waves. So in a sense, we already have the internet of bodies because our realities are interwoven with these radio waves that our brains receive, and it's projected different realities based on our energetic frequency. And since these waves bounce off the Van Allen belt or the firmament, the energy that you put out literally comes back to you. Some individuals can vibrate so high that their vibration is actually healing. This is why when you stand next to certain people, their energy or their Merkaba heals you and you can feel it. Okay, so let's say that this model here represents the human body resonance frequencies. You can see that every part of your body, every organ has a certain resonance frequency. A lot of these frequencies are controlled by your chakra system, especially the chakras that you cannot see outside of your body. So since your organs have this resonance frequency, that means that you can use sound frequencies to tune your organs. So you can call that sound healing. Alright, and so some sound frequencies, healing frequencies, are these solfeggio frequencies going from 174 hertz to 963 hertz. And you can see 963 is Christ consciousness, pure miracle tone, telepathy. Every different frequency has a different attribute. So here's a energy center chart. It's telling you the note, which is like a sound note, the issues, the location, like upper abdomen is an E flat, right? And it's telling you that you can use this sound note to heal that organ. Here is a chakra frequency chart, and it tells you the different frequencies of these different colors of your chakras, with the ultraviolet being your crown chakra and the infrared being your root chakra. Here's another one. You have, let's say, nerve regeneration, frequency 2 hertz, capillary formation 15 and 20 hertz. For my visual learners, here is another diagram for you. It just shows you the different chakras and the frequency that you can heal, that you can adjust that chakra to. And when you adjust the chakra, you adjust the center that it controls. So you can heal certain organs by healing your solar plexus. And since manifestation is associated with the root chakra, if you want to be better at manifesting, you have to make sure that your root chakra is in alignment. I mean, you have to make sure all of them are in alignment, but each chakra has a different attribute to it. And so when using sound healing, like a solfeggio frequency, when it adjusts the chakra, when it adjusts the organs, you then have signals, resonant frequencies that is sent up to the brain to let you know, hey, we're healed down here. The higher your frequency, the stronger the potency of that cerebral spinal fluid. And since that cerebral spinal fluid is considered the Christ within, the stronger it is, the more potent your dimethyltryptamine trips from your pineal gland are going to be, which means, for example, your dreams are going to be more lucid. You're also going to experience better sleep because melatonin is also delivered by the pineal gland. And of course, your optic thalamus is considered the light of the world.
5D Mystery School.
Welcome back to 5D Mystery School. Let's get into it. Okay, so yesterday we went over radio waves in relation to the human brain. Now, as mentioned before in the other video, your brain acts like a radio receiver. Now, is it possible for your brain to receive bio-coded messages through radio waves? Okay, so before we touch on that, as mentioned in another video, I said that your DNA has a specific energetic resonance. All of your organs, all of your body parts have certain frequencies. And if somebody has your DNA code, then they can biocode a signal that is specifically meant just for you. Now here is a patent for methods and automatic system to identify who is a victim of voice-to-skull and remote neuromonitoring technology, and identify who is remote attacker or operator using device of voice-to-skull and remote neuromonitoring. That was in 2019. Okay, so let me give you an example really fast. Let's say that you and your friend are hanging out and you both realize that you forgot to pay your phone bill, so your phones are turned off. And then you guys happen to go to the cell phone store to pay your bill. Your friend left their wallet at home, so you're the only one that's able to pay your bill. And so once you pay your bill, the phone company sends a signal to your phone for reactivation. Your friend's phone doesn't get the signal because the waves that are sent to your phone is specifically meant for your EMIC, I think they call it. Or I think it's called MEID. But anyway, it's the address for your phone, so where the signal can be sent to. Now, if somebody has the resonance of your organs, the resonance of your DNA, then they can biocode radio waves that are sent just to you, and the result will be like you hearing voices, you hearing high-pitched noises, because again, your brain is a receiver. Here is a patent that was done in 1989 for silent subliminal presentation system. This means that you receive subliminal messages to your subconscious mind. And a lot of this technology is used in commercials, movies, and television. It's a part of marketing to get you up out the couch and going to Target and buying things that after you bought it, you don't even remember why you bought it. You just know that you went to Target for one thing, probably some bread, and you left out of Target with like $150 worth of new electronics because you received subliminal messages. Let's take it one step further. There's technology that can actually hear your thoughts. You ever been on the internet and you think about something like, man, I could really use some dog food right now. You don't voice it out loud, but you happen to see an ad for dog food on your computer, even though it was just a thought? Yeah. Okay, so this article talks about Arnav Kapoor, and down in the article, yes, it's true, Alter Ego, Kapoor's new wearable device system, can detect what you're saying when you are talking to yourself, even if you are completely silent and not moving your mouth. You remember the thought police from George Orwell's 1984? Well, it's now a reality. This technology involves a system of sensors that detect the minuscule neuromuscular signals sent by the brain to the vocal cords and muscles of the throat and tongue. So your thoughts create neuromuscular signals that can be picked up by this technology. Like I said in another video, your thoughts literally send out electromagnetic waves from your brain. Those waves can then be read, deciphered by technology, and you can pause to read the rest. One trend that I do notice with a lot of these technologies, they come out saying that it's going to be marketed to people that are disabled, but then the uses of it turns out to be something completely different. I find that more often than not, it ends up being used with malicious intent. So here is a patent for the method and device for implementing the radio frequency hearing effect. It was done in 1996. That was done by the US Air Force. Yeah, the military be working on a lot of this technology. Don't worry, I'm about to show you something else in a second. Here's a patent for microwave voice-to-skull technology, also known as V2K. Now, targeted individuals, people that are like truth tellers, conspiracy theorists, you might hear them say like they are a targeted individual. What this means is that they are being targeted by this voice-to-skull technology. So a lot of them might hear voices, a lot of them might hear high-pitched noises, music, a random baseball game. Anything that can be broadcasted can be sent to your brain. And this coincides with MK Ultra because a lot of MK Ultra victims are victims to this technology. And some of these guys that are performing these mass unaliving events at school say that they hear voices, they hear instructions. Here's a patent for the apparatus for audibly communicating speech using radio frequency hearing effect, done in 1996. And it is exactly what it sounds like. Here's a patent for pulse variability in electric field manipulations of nervous systems. This means that radio waves can be used to control your nervous system, and your nervous system is the central hub for your entire body. Pulse variability. I went over this in another video. Everything has a pulse. When you hear vibrations, think about pulsations. And to go along with that patent, here's another patent for remote magnetic manipulation of nervous systems. Okay, so just in case you want to see some more patents, you can pause to look at these. Here's some more. I want to point out here, method and system for altering consciousness. So they have the technology to literally change the consciousness of people. And you know, your consciousness is the vehicle that your soul is driving. Your consciousness is the awareness of the body. You are tapped into a collective consciousness. And if somebody was to alter your consciousness to make it seem like you were less than human, then people might consider you to be an NPC. I'm not saying that this is the case for everybody that's considered to be an NPC, but it can be the case for some people who has had their consciousness tampered with. Okay, another patent I want to point out here is the method and device for interpreting concepts and conceptual thought from brainwave data. This means they're reading your thoughts. Another one is the biomagnetic analytical system using fiber optic magnetic sensors. These means those little fibers that's in your body, allegedly, you have little fibers in your body and their fibers are reading your biometrics, and then that data is being sent back to 5G towers in your area so that they can be read. And to take it one step further, this technology can be used to read the thoughts to know if you are planning on creating a crime in the future, therefore going hand in hand with the pre-crime department, preventing crimes before they happen based on your thoughts. And since they can actually read your thoughts now, then you can be incriminated for premeditated crime. Even if you did not commit the crime, you had thoughts of committing a crime. Therefore, you would be reprimanded by the thought police. Okay, last one of these patents, method and apparatus for analyzing neurological response to emotional inducing stimuli. This means that they can cause an emotion in your brain and then in real time get your neurological response. How are you going to think about what you are feeling? What is your neural data going to send back to them? Do this enough times, you then know exactly how somebody will react to trauma, react to certain stimuli that you're sending to them. Okay, so I said I was going to come back to the military. The Navy invented a device to prevent people from talking. The system can get very sneaky by repeating anything a speaker says milliseconds after it's said. So it's like getting feedback from an amp when you're trying to do a show and you try to get the amp just right. Well, it's like you hearing real-time feedback in your brain, and ultimately it's going to make you stop talking. The Navy filed a patent for a device that makes it difficult for most people to speak. So the feedback effect just disrupts your concentration. Okay, so you can pause to read just a little bit more about that technology developed by the Navy. Now, I found this to be interesting. Japanese researchers make speech jamming gun. That was done in 2012, so just imagine the advancements of this technology now. Imagine if you wanted to stop people from rioting. You get where this is going. This is by Cornell University, Speech Jammer, a system utilizing artificial speech disturbance with delayed auditory feedback. Yet more technology to hush you up. Now again, with your brain being a receiver, new device puts music in your head, no headphones needed. Your brain receives the music. The radio signal is broadcasted straight to your brain. Now, I believe this is related. Here's a patent for DNA-based steganography that was done in the year 2000. And if you are not aware with steganography, pause to read. Essentially, it is the method of encrypting data. It's a way of putting something in plain sight that can only be understood by a certain few. That's steganography. For an example, you send somebody a letter with a special code, but the special code is written underneath the stamp, and only the person who knows to remove this stamp will receive the message. Now, to go a little bit deeper in the rabbit hole, but not too deep, imagine if there was a company that collected millions, possibly billions of DNA codes from people. Just look, this article was done in 2019. I don't even need to read it, but you know what it is. The key word here is gene editing. And again, in 2019, today's advances in biotechnology and genetic engineering have exciting applications in medicine. That was done before So is it a coincidence? Anywho, this is from New York Times. U.S. warns of efforts by China to collect genetic data. Again, getting those special biocodes from people. And if you have somebody's biocode, hypothetically, you can tailor a weaponized biochemical agent to that person. Here's another relevant article. And this is on the FDA's website suggesting people that you should get a home test from. Beijing and other Chinese pharmaceutical companies. So with understanding and overstanding radio waves, you have to know how to block radio waves, and that's why I suggested shungite in the other video. Look into getting you a Faraday bag or a Faraday box. Learn how to meditate if you don't already, so you can know how to control your mind, so you can discern your own self with interferences. They want us to be scared, but we simply don't live in fear here. We become aware and then protect ourselves.
5D Mystery School.